Good evening, ladies. My name is Dana Stamness, and I am a really good friend of Hillary's, and most of you probably know me. You might even be in my Hearts at Home group. I have been asked to speak on meditation, and while I thought that would be just the easiest thing in the world to do because I meditate every day, it is so hard to get this into 15 minutes, and I'm going to do my very, very best for you. So, first of all, I am a mother of 3 adult children, and I have a husband named Peter who's amazing. I've been on staff at Rolling Hills for about 9 years. I've been a member of the body there for about 24 years, so a really, really long time. Meditation came at a time in my life that was quite a while ago, about 7 years ago. And I am lucky enough because as you age, ladies, you forget a lot of things. And journaling is something I learned at Hearts at Home when I was about 24 years ago, when I had my first child. And the person speaking, her name was Faith Carter, she told us about the benefits of the practice of journaling, and I have done that for 24 years. So it appears, if my journals are correct, that I started meditating about 7 years ago. And why I started meditating was because I was sort of a lunatic. My life kind of went like this. I was a busy mom. My kids were they were in high school, middle school, elementary school. I had just started a new job working at the church, and I had a really hard time holding it together. I didn't understand the mind-body connection. I didn't understand what was going on in my brain half the time. And I knew that I had the ability to really fake it for a really long time. I could appear like I was holding it together for a while, and then I would just crash, just absolutely crash. And I hated living like that. I hated that for my kids, and I hated that for my husband, and I hated that for myself. So I was introduced to meditation, and man, if any of you know my personality, I dove right in. I started with a retreat, which is like the worst thing to do. Don't do it that way. I went to a 3-day retreat on meditation, and was too embarrassed to tell anybody that I did this retreat. In fact, 7 years ago, if I would never have been asked to give this meditation talk for you guys. Meditation was still sort of, kooky wooky. I remember using the word mantra accidentally at a staff meeting, and I was like I was literally possessed by some Hindu demon, and it was super awful. So I didn't want to have this secretive practice that I was really growing to understand. But at the time, it just was not really in the Christian circle yet. So I promise that we have come to a much better place, and that we're not going to do anything that's going to be contradictory to scripture or to really what you believe. Hopefully, fingers crossed. So my journey through meditation also kind of looks like this. I would have a really good practice, and then when my life would fall apart, I'd have a really hard time holding it together. I would give up my practice, and I would just go on my own, right? Does this sound familiar to you? I'm that way with exercise, diet, and I was the same way with meditation, that I would find and not only did I find that I had a really good practice, but I was that annoying person who would talk about it like, oh, this is great, or this is great. And then I really could not hold it together during a crisis. So it took a long time. It took a lot of practice to get to a steady place where my practice doesn't ebb and flow and shift with what's going on in my life. But it took a long time to get there. So I want to encourage you. But when we think about why, when I remember why, I remember times, of course, when it was hard, but when I go back and look at my journaling, it is pretty funny. I wrote here, this is the absolute writings of a lunatic, but it said, I hate that I am chubby. I hate that I am so tight in my back and I have so much back pain. I hate looking at myself naked in the mirror, which is, I don't know why I was even doing that so much. I overeat when I'm stressed, and I don't know what to do with I don't know what to do with being so busy all of the time. I'm unhappy and I can't relax. It's sort of so many typos and misspellings. So when I look back at that, I think, hey, that was why for me. I could not find a really healthy rhythm. And when I'm in a good place, when I look at my life now, like when I woke up this morning, the benefits of meditation they can't be disputed. The mind-body connection, you can read everywhere, anywhere about this. This is a true thing. But for me personally, I'm not that concerned with the length of my telomeres. So I wanted to feel peaceful and I wanted to feel funny. I felt really funny this morning. Like I woke up and I was giggling and I was excited for the day. It was sunny outside. I like to feel flexible. So years in now, my yoga practice is combined with my meditation practice, and I like to feel flexible. I like to feel mentally flexible, and I like to feel physically flexible. I like to be able to move around easily. I like to feel loving, and I like to feel present. So those are kind of the then and now, and it's not always perfectly like that, but that is kind of where I try and stay. So it's important that we talk about mindfulness first, because mindfulness has become this humongous buzzword that you see everywhere. If you're at the grocery store checkout stand, I guarantee you that half those magazines are going to have this mindfulness buzzword. And meditation and mindfulness are two different things. You could say that mindfulness is a fruit of meditation, if you wanted to. That probably would be accurate. But you could say I am being mindful or I am practicing mindfulness. And those are great things too. And after this video, when I challenge you, you might say, I'm not going to do the meditation part, but I am going to do some of these mindful practices. So I just talked about journaling. It's a huge mindfulness practice to write down your thoughts, your feelings, your frustrations, what's going on in your mind, what's going on in your life. There's huge benefits to that. Breathing exercises. I do a ton of breathing exercises throughout the day. When I wake up, I do a body scan, which is just how's my body feeling today? Am I holding any tension anywhere? How's my back feel? I just do a quick body scan. Gratitude practice is massively important, and it's a great part of I do mine in the morning. I imagined you could practice gratitude anytime, but I wake up and I think of 5 things I'm most grateful for in that moment. And I not only think about each thing as words, but I think about each of those things. I practice thinking on those things. So I'm going to be really out there with some of the things I say. And I know some of you are going to make fun of me, but that's okay. Yeah, I'm here for you. So if I think I'm grateful for Peter, I think Peter, and then I think about Peter. So I think about him intimately. I think about him of why I'm grateful for him, and sometimes I apply a memory to that. So I do that practice. It doesn't take much time at all. Mindfulness, practicing the practice of accepting yourself, accepting your body and who you are right now. Not 10 pounds down the road, not when you get that dream job or when your kids are back in school or your kids are in school someday, but right now, the practice of accepting your body and being proud of your body, and you looking at yourself naked in the mirror, and you are looking at a body that birthed 3 children or 2 children or 9 children or someday will. That you are, these are the arms that wrap around your husband, that wrap around your children, that greet somebody that's in need. Every single part of your body, accepting your body the way you are right now. And then practicing smiling, being grateful for that. And just not looking, I guess that would be the art of just being present and accepting it at this very moment. Practice having a growth mindset, and this is a really fun practice. So you would have practicing a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. is really fun to do right now during these crazy times when people have opinions on everything, or there's so much talk about politics or schools or why people are doing this versus doing that. There's so much chaos, but you can practice having a growth mindset. And here would be an example of doing that. You're at dinner with your family. Your parents are there, your kids are there, you have these mixed ages, and the topic of politics comes up, right? So this growth practice would be recognizing what's happening in your body at that moment. Are you tensing up? What is your mind saying? What is going on in you? Recognizing that, but recognizing why am I so fixed in this thinking versus having more of a growth opportunity? Just because we don't agree with what somebody is saying, just because we don't agree with that point of view, you don't have to go, your mind doesn't have to go like this. You can keep your mind open. I practice this with my father-in-law all the time because he can say the darndest things, and I can see my kids getting upset, and to be able to be mindful of what is going on in my body and mind when I'm hearing something that I disagree with. It's a good exercise to remember that everything we think isn't true and everything we feel isn't true. Thank the Lord. I think most of what I feel in that moment is not true. So the practice of that is really, really, I would say it's fun. I think it's hard in the beginning, but it all comes back to the art of noticing what's going on in your mind and then how your body reacts. And you can really, really take control of that. You have absolute control over the responses that are going on in your mind and then therefore in your body. So those are all fantastic parts of being mindful. I listed about 8. I'm going to give you a longer list for you guys to talk about in your group, but those are all great things. So now you can be in the know. Okay, so meditation is a completely different thing, okay? And what I love about meditation is there are lots of types. So there's loving kindness, there's Zen, there's transcendental, there's, MBSR is mindfulness-based stress reduction. And that was originally the meditation I used. And that was the retreat I went to. I have since probably gone to retreat on every single type except transcendental meditation, but I do a lot of Kundalini yoga meditation, and what I found on studying all these different types, so I've probably gone to 15 retreats, and I've gone to sweat lodges and Wim Hof events, and sound baths, with the gong, all different types of things that I've experienced, and a lot of it you leave behind. Like a lot of it, I was gifted this sound bowl, and I cannot figure this thing out. I literally can do that, but that is it. My kids can pick it up and make these amazing sounds. I have no idea what the significance of this is in any different religion or anything other than it's really pretty and my daughter gave it to me. So that's how open-handed I am with the other little nuances, like a mantra or an alms, things that come with practices sometimes. If it doesn't fit into your practice, it just doesn't fit into your practice. That bowl is never going to fit into my practice, because after really journeying through all these different types, I've kind of created my own flow. So you'll take things that you like, and you will leave things that you don't like or don't fit into your practice. So I would expect that through your practice, which will start really, really small, you will quickly develop where you like to practice, when you can practice, how long you can sit, which can be hard in the beginning. And the rhythms are really important in your household. As you can see, I have an entire 200 square feet of yoga and meditation space. A lot of people use this space, but I used to meditate in my closet. I used to meditate at the foot of my bed, outside, on my deck, on a hike. My house was really busy and loud, and I couldn't meditate inside. So as through the years, I've really my practice has really changed and really grown. But you can eventually meditate absolutely anywhere. So the directions for meditation are really, really short, which is super duper deceiving. So if you do there's 4 things you have to do. You're going to sit in a comfortable pose, which is not laying down, ladies, because that would be sleeping. You will, an active pose is necessary. I am sitting, gosh, you can't even see me. I am sitting in an active pose. I am not sitting like this. I am just sitting in a relaxed, cross-legged pose. I also can sit on my knees, is what I just did. Sometimes I'll put a blanket under my knees, but often it just is a blanket that looks cute in my yoga room. So you're going to sit in an active pose and close your eyes. And here's the best part. You're just going to breathe absolutely naturally. Now, a lot of times you hear the first 2 steps the same. You're going to sit in an active pose and you are going to close your eyes. You're going to take a deep breath in. You're going to release forcefully, maybe do that a few times, and then go into a natural breath. I say in the beginning, just breathe naturally. I would overthink the breathing and I would get all messed up, okay? So when they say focus on the breathing, you're not gonna over-focus on your breathing. Where my ADD brain says, oh my gosh, I'm getting too much air, I'm gonna pass out. So back to the beginning. You're gonna find a comfortable spot. I'm on my knees. I probably could sit this way for 30 minutes, but it took a long time to get there. I am going to just breathe naturally. And then I am going to come to a comfortable spot in my mind, which for me means that I have already adjusted my shoulders. I've pulled them down to a comfortable spot. I've maybe done this a few times. I typically do a couple deep breaths, I will admit. And I come to a comfortable spot, and then becomes the focus. So the focus part of your meditation is that you are focusing on your breath. I just said that, but I don't want you to over focus on your breath. You're going to focus on your breath because it gives you something to focus on, basically, as you breathe in and out. Now, this, when you look at the directions to meditate, this is me meditating. When you look at the directions, it seems super easy. The most exciting part to me, and I want this to be presented to you as something that's exciting and not frustrating, is what is going on in your brain. And a lot of cultures call this monkey brain, which would apply to me so perfectly, is that when you try to focus, okay, so I'm going to be focusing, and then I immediately think about vacuuming my house. Okay, that's my most common monkey brain thought. Or maybe I refocus and then my brain goes, what am I going to do after I'm done meditating? What am I going to eat? I'm really hungry. What did I have for breakfast? My brain can go just absolutely everywhere. So I like to use the example of my brain. Instead of monkey brain, I say it's like training a puppy, okay? So my puppy that I'm training is my brain, and I want to train it to sit still. And when my brain wanders one way or the other, I'm not going to yank on that brain. I'm not going to yank my mind around. It's not bad that that's happening. It's just the puppy, right? So I'm training a puppy. I'm not going to yank him back and yank him this way and that way. I'm going to gently and lovingly correct the puppy. So your brain is going to do all of this. I don't want it to be frustrating for you because you have an amazing and wonderful brain and you're just training it to focus, and it's hard. So in your training, maybe you can go, if you could go 1 minute of focusing, 1 solid minute to where you have this thought, you just pull it back. You don't think on the thought. You don't decide if it's a good or bad thought. You don't push on it. You don't think on it. You just pull it back and refocus on your breathing. Okay? That's all you're going to do. Over time, you can get to 3 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. It takes a long time to get to 20 minutes. But even a minute, even 1 minute is super duper amazing. Now, the most exciting benefit of this is taking what you do on the mat into your regular life. So you will find before long that you are going about your life and you have these thoughts, right? These thoughts come all the time. In your everyday walking around life, you can refocus that. It is this most amazing ability to do in your mind, to where you're less reactive, you're less angry, you're more patient, you're more joyful. This is amazing for your sex life. You become more creative, spontaneous, because all of these thoughts, your mind is being trained to just set it aside. Just set it aside. We're not doing anything with it, and a lot of these things, they do just go away. So guys, I know I went 21 minutes. I'm so sorry, Hillary, but that was a lot to cover. I'm going to be giving you a worksheet on mindfulness and on meditation. I'm also going to be sending a short 3-minute meditation walkthrough by an expert, because I am not an expert. I am someone that's just like you, trying to make sense of our crazy minds. So I love you all. I hope you take just one thing and apply it to your life, and I challenge you to do that. Love you all. Bye.